Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Stepping Up to the Plate. I'm your host, Michael Vega. So glad you could join us here on a championship day after the Celtics clinch Banner 18 with a convincing 106-88 win over the Dallas Mavericks in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. And what a scene it was at TD Garden. Unbelievable. The scene in and around there. The celebration was more than what any of those players could have imagined. Jaylen Brown was recognized as the Bill Russell Trophy winner, as the MVP of the series, and just a tremendous accomplishment. We want to give it up to the Celtics. They did it the right way. They played as a team. I think, they had some great coaching from Joe Mazzulla, who is to be credited. And I know my main man, Al Prizzuti, who's here, will do some crediting as well. But Al, unbelievable. We were texting each other, and when Peyton Pritchard hits that three-pointer, the improbable three-pointer that goes in, I'm saying it's over. It's over.
That's his shot.
He's
done it twice.
Twice they bring him in for that shot.
Yeah.
It is. You're right. It's not. It wasn't a fluke. That wasn't a fluke, man, because he hit nothing but net. Didn't bank it in. He just stroked that thing from beyond half court. Beyond half court. And, Luka Doncic was supposed to be guarding him and gave him enough space.
Who's going to guard somebody with the time they had left at half court? I mean,
unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. But, and when that shot goes down, I'm texting Al. I'm like, it's over, man.
It was over at
the first quarter, you thought.
Well, Drew Holiday scored six points in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah.
He's the guy that got them off and running.
Right.
I mean, in my opinion, that was the steal of all steals. I mean, White is a steal too.
Yeah.
But not like Drew Holiday runs all over the place.
He
had 11 rebounds.
Yes.
He's probably the smallest guy on the court to get 11 rebounds.
No, he's not that small.
One of the smallest.
Yeah, he's not that small.
I'm telling you.
He's about 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, I mean, to get 11 rebounds. I mean, there's guys out there 6'9", 6'10".
He's always active. He's cutting. The ball, when they play this 5-out offense and are gunning for a three-pointer, it requires someone to be active to get the guys going, to get the defense in rotation and to get them out of sorts and create an open look.
Between him and White, the defense is unbelievable. White gets up as high for another guy who's not that tall, gets up there and blocks shots.
Everybody.
He's a player.
He blocks guards, he blocks forwards, he blocks centers.
Well, he blocks
he took on Lively.
He took off the floor, too.
Oh, my God, that poor kid.
Lively sat on top on his face.
He wakes up today sitting in a dentist chair. I can feel your pain there because I was there yesterday as well. But he wakes up today getting his teeth fixed, all he wants this morning is his two front teeth.
Well, I was happy to see Horford win.
Yes.
After all those years.
Your namesake.
And his dad was there.
Tito.
I mean, that was. I mean, look they were the better team. I don't think anybody doubted. I hated all this. Oh, they lost by 38 points in Game 4. So what?
Right out.
You had to win.
Amen,
4.
brother. Amen.
They weren't going to beat the Celtics 4 games.
No,
let me put it
because they had to play that same Game 4. They had to duplicate that Game 4 times.
Right, and then they would have had to beat them in Game 5 in Boston. They would have had to beat them, win in Dallas, and then come back and beat them
again.
And
in all those games, they would have required the Celtics to fall on their faces.
Yeah,
and that wasn't happening. Not in Game 5. Not at TD Garden. And let's just dispel one thing right now. All right, all these conspiracy theorists. Did they intentionally lose Game 4 so that they come back and win in Game 5?
Stupid.
I'm like, if they had a chance to win Game 4, they would have won it in Game 4.
No, that's because that's fan talk.
Yes.
Because everybody goes, oh, they wanted to win it at home. They wanted to win it in Dallas.
Anywhere. They would have won it. They just wanted to win it.
Right.
They just wanted to win it.
But, Brad Stevens deserves all the credit.
Oh, my God, another guy, yeah.
Because, look at everybody, not me, loved Marcus Smart.
Everybody at this day is but you.
They got a much better player in Drew Holiday than Marcus Smart.
It's funny. Eddie House told a story about he was on a flight and he got wind of the trade, Drew Holiday being acquired by the Celtics. and he went up and threw his hands up in the air in middle flight. People looked at him and thought he was like, getting ready to hijack the plane. No, but his reaction was mine, because Al, when they acquired him, at that time, the narrative was, well, Dame Lillard going over to the Bucks makes the Bucks contenders. Yeah. All of a sudden, you go from getting Kristaps Porzingis and becoming the number one contender in the East, and then ceding that to the Bucks when they went out and got Dame Lillard. But then all of a sudden, that narrative shifted when they got Drew Holiday.
Yeah, well, see, I think Drew Holiday was a big move.
Yes.
Porzingis was the biggest move, because there's a couple of things there with Porzingis, although he's injured quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's a big guy who does a lot of different things. He can shoot, for one thing. He can block shots.
Right.
You have to play a big guy like that, which means you're going to take some focus off of some of the other guys, which leaves Brown and Tatum and Horford when he's in there, and White and all these guys a little more open than they would be, because you got a big guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of having a big guy. Without the big guy,
sure,
I'm not sure that they would have won. But
game one was
5 guys. This is a Red Auerbach formula. 5 guys.
Yes, Al.
The guys that did the show, the national show, were talking afterwards. You could say MVP could have been Jaylen Brown, could have been Jason Tatum, could have been Porzingis, could have been Drew Holiday. In my opinion, Drew Holiday was the best player every game.
I was right there.
And White.
Yeah.
That's 5 guys that would be stars on any team that they play for.
No.
Put together, who are, other than Jason, a little unselfish. Jason can be selfish sometimes.
Yeah.
He loves it when it's on him.
Yeah.
But he's a player.
He carried a heavy burden for the longest time, and this year he decided to let that weight off his shoulders, because now it didn't require him to be the best player on this team. He just needed to be the player that they needed. A facilitator on offense, a guy who was going to go get rebounds, get assists, make clutch baskets when they need it. And the thing is, Al, that he did all of that and more. And yet, when Jaylen Brown got the MVP in the Eastern Conference Finals, and when he got, there was talk that, oh, did you see his reaction? He didn't like that. Yeah. No, he didn't. It didn't matter to him, because they won. That's all he wanted to do, was to win. And Al, to your point, they got 5 guys that are like-minded. They all want to win. They will all sacrifice.
That's
Drew Holiday sacrificed to do what he did.
So did Horford.
Even
though he was 38 years old,
Horford, yes.
He said, look, I'll be the guy that comes off the bench. This is the old Celtics 6th man philosophy.
And Jaylen Brown, they had him mic'd up, him and Tatum. They had them both mic'd up. And he, at the timeout, he says, if Doncic stays, I'm in. Yeah. He says, I'm covering him. He was not going to let that guy get an easy basket.
I thought Peluca, though, they talked to him at the end,
said
it best when he said, they asked him about this, and he said, look, this was the house that Danny Ainge built.
Yes.
And
Brad
Stevens finished.
Yeah.
So he started it.
He set the foundation.
He set the foundation.
Because he got the picks, made the moves that got the picks that brought in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
That's the cornerstone of this team. Now you fill in with all really good players.
And you know what? They've got really good players around them who are complementary and who can also do things. And you know what?
Pritchard would be a starter on any other team.
Oh, my God. But I'm so glad that they kept him.
Yeah.
I am so glad they kept him. That, when he was languishing on the bench a year ago under Joe Mazzulla, you thought that, okay, this is going to be parting of the ways. But no, man, he came back. He worked. He was in there. He was one of the hardest workers.
You got to give Mazzulla credit, though, because you look at his. They showed it. He was the assistant coach at
West Virginia State or something.
Yeah, the 2 state colleges, and then another team that
he had this team
solidified his
one win away from going to the finals last year.
I know.
Unbelievable.
And taking over at a rough time. You got to remember.
Yes.
So, I mean, the guys like Marcus Smart and Williams. All have to feel bad because they were part of this team.
Yeah, they're part of the building blocks. Yeah.
and they're no longer there, obviously. But,
Right.
you know, basketball,
But you know what though? Like they were demanding, Smart was demanding the ball. He wanted to be the guard. Grant Williams was demanding more money. He felt he was more
yeah,
valuable.
I mean, I understand.
And yet Tatum and Brown weren't demanding anything except excellence.
Yeah, but Marcus Smart.
They weren't demanding anything like that
Smart,
except excellence.
great defensive player.
Yeah.
I mean, a good, I should say, better than average defensive player, not a great defensive player.
Well,
but
he was heart and soul
please
in terms
do
of the
not
grit of
shoot
this team.
threes the way he did. You take him out, you put a guy like Drew Holiday in there and say, how would you rate that? You've got an 8 and a 5.
Al, you're gonna fall out of your chair when I say this, but Drew Holiday succeeded in making me forget about Marcus Smart. How could you? Well, like I said, when they made that move, the narrative suddenly changed. Now, the Celtics rose above the Bucks in terms of the hierarchy in the East.
Well, White is the Dennis Johnson of this team.
Good call.
He's the
Good
forgotten
analogy.
superstar.
Great analogy.
You know, I mean, because that's what the way DJ was. And Larry Bird said he thought DJ was the best player, one of the best clutch players on that team.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at the old Celtics. Everybody talked about Cousy and Sharman and Heinsohn and Russell. Sam Jones was probably the best shooter I ever saw.
Yeah.
I mean, and he doesn't take top billing.
You know, Al, it's interesting you mentioned that name, but if
Sudden
you
Sam
guys are
Jones.
fans of numerology, I'm going to hit you with this. I saw this on a thing, and I'm like, oh my God. The Celtics, all right, won on June 17th,
I know.
2024, 18th championship banner. They win by 18 points, 106 to 88. Jaylen Brown wins the Bill Russell Trophy, and Bill Russell died when he was 88 years old, and that's exactly how many points the Mavericks were held to.
Mm-hmm.
So the Celtics have lost a number of greats: Bill Russell, Havlicek, and Sam Jones. Russell wore number 6, Havlicek wore 17, and Sam Jones was number
24.
24.
Yeah.
6, 17, 24, which equates to the date, 16 years to the day of the Celtics' last
You know, when you think of
championship. And here's the other thing too, Al. Who did we recently lose to? Bill Walton. He was number 5.
Mm-hmm.
They won this one in Game 5.
Well, you can always do that with numbers. So.
Yes, but I mean, it's just like, to me, it's a little cosmic. There's a little cosmic nature in this thing that leads one to believe that there are larger forces at work here.
Yeah.
You know, when Peyton Pritchard knocks down a shot like that, you got to say there are larger forces at work here.
Well, Auerbach might not have ever let him play again, going back in those days, because there was no three-pointer back then.
So, Al,
anyways,
to my point, today is a great day because A, the Celtics are champions of the NBA, and B, our spot, Steel and Rye, is open. Oh, shout out to all our friends at Steel and Rye. We're going to be back. They were asking for us. In fact, I ran into Don and Joe. They were there.
Oh,
they were there asking for you.
Oh my God!
And I said we're going to be back on Thursday. You know, and so they're happy. I want to say give a shout out. To Dan and all the people there at Steel and Rye who we miss so terribly. I think and we're happy to be going back on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll have to let everybody
know. We're going to be going back, and hopefully we get to do a show from there. We'll do a show from there.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
And so it's funny. Great minds think alike. Shane Brandenburg, I think, made the stop there, and he picked up some pastries, and then I stopped in. To pick up some pastries for the guys. So.
And I was the smart one. I came here, and now there's all the pastry here. I didn't stop anywhere.
Well.
I got to get gas though on the way home.
There you go. And so it's going to be a wonderful parade on Friday. The Celtics will be celebrating their Friday. Friday's the day. 11 o'clock. It's going to start at TD Garden.
Too hot.
Oh man, but it's going to be something else, Al. It's going to be something else.
I wouldn't go.
And you know what? And right now the Celtics are boarding flights. They're boarding flights in an hour to get down to Miami to celebrate as a team. You know, as they well should. As they will. They should enjoy themselves. They should enjoy each other. And, you know, when you're on a team like that, you know, they become your brothers. They become your family. And that was a lovely thing to see. All the players with their families, with their kids. You know, I thought it was poignant to see, you know, Deuce in his arm, in the hands of his father, his dad throwing him up in the air, you know, as the confetti was falling. It was just like a Currier and Ives kind of scene, you know, with the confetti falling there. It was unbelievable. And Tito Horford with his son Al, you know, and Derek White with his kids. Xavier Tillman, who hits a big three-pointer, you know, unbelievable. That's the thing. The guys on this team, you know, they played like this. And the Mavericks relied upon one or two guys to get it done.
Well,
and you can't beat a team that's connected.
Kyrie wasn't even there.
He wasn't. He checked out. Well, you know, and part of the reason he got checked out was because Doncic held on to the ball a lot.
Well, I mean,
he never saw the ball.
Between the two of them, though, I mean, Doncic is a little more consistent than Kyrie. Kyrie has been consistent in his career. I'm talking about in this game.
Yeah.
He only had like 16 points. Doncic had, what, 29?
Yeah, but they picked him up early in the dribble, made it tougher for him to get into his shots.
I don't like their style of play.
Who?
Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a little disjointed, and
Yeah.
I thought the same thing with Indiana.
Yeah.
You know, a little disjointed. Where the
Yeah.
Celtics, they know what they want to do when they come down, and I think that structure is a little of what Missoula kept saying to them. You know, this is what we're going to do. Make sure you stick to the plan, and they did it.
Well, they did that, but they deviated from it in Game 4, and we saw what happens when they deviate from that, and the other team goes on a heater, and you know it leads to like one of the massive losses.
Yeah,
that they
I
had.
see.
But
I
you know
look
what?
at it this
and
way.
And Al, you know what? Here's the thing. I like you. I didn't panic. I'm like, okay, they had a clunker. Now they're coming back home.
The only
and they're
time
going to get it done here.
The only
To a
time
man,
I
they're gonna
panic is when the Bruins are up 3, and they got and the other team has to win 4, and they will.
Isn't it weird how the NBA Finals and the NHL Stanley Cup playoff, the finals have kind of like followed the same kind of pattern?
Well, we'll see.
So-
Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight, because
The
Panthers are playing
at home. Having
If
come
they
off
don't
a
win this
blowout
game,
loss.
if they
Came off
don't
a
play this
blowout
game,
loss, yeah.
if they don't win it, watch out, because they go back up to Edmonton. All of Canada will be behind Edmonton
But
anyway.
isn't that what we were saying about Dallas and Celtics? People were like, I saw all the pregame, all the hand wringing. People,
different.
well, you know, Stephen A was going, well, you know, if they don't win this game and Porzingis gets hurt, now what are you going to do? You got to go back there
I
to
don't
Dallas.
listen to
And they're
any of
gonna be,
that.
I'm like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah. Hockey's a little different, though, because if you go down there, like the other, I'll tell you one thing. If Edmonton goes out tonight and loses, they should go after Ullman big time, because they need a goalie.
Yeah.
They need a goalie.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they don't
yeah,
need
yeah.
Draisaitl. They've got plenty of guys that can score. We can give them 3 or 4 guys, and we take Draisaitl.
I don't know. Draisaitl hasn't
I've
been
been saying
too
it all
impressive to
day.
me.
Well, the kid's a player, though. I mean, he's...
Well, while the Celtics were winning their 18th banner, guess who was catching fire here in town? Al. And I'm not talking about the Revolution,
The Red Sox.
who did catch fire. The Red Sox, Al. Unbelievable. Took 2 series against the best
two
in the
best
NL
teams.
East
Yeah,
and
two
the
best
best in the
teams.
AL East.
They played okay against the Phillies. I thought, you know, they lost kind of similar in a way.
They had some decent pitching
They
performances.
did have some, well, this is what wins. But and the last game against the Yankees,
9 stolen bases, Al.
that's something you never see a Red Sox team
No.
do.
And, you
But
know,
then they come back last night. And Pivetta, I'll tell you one thing about Pivetta. 7 innings, okay? He's got a rubber arm, this kid. He can strike out guys.
I like
And if you give him a lead, he's much better.
Al. To me, he's the bulldog right here. He's the bulldog of this
I'm
rotation.
worried about the other kid, though, because Bello, I'm not sure Bello is everything that everybody says he's going to be. He doesn't show me. I'll tell you one thing about Pivetta. He doesn't throw 98, 100. He throws 94, 95, but he picks his spots. He's a
Crafty.
pretty good pitcher, and he strikes out a lot of guys, which would indicate a couple of things.
Yeah.
Location.
He pitches with guile,
Yeah.
is what they would say.
And he's into it.
He very much is, and I think that a guy like Bello hasn't had the adversity or dealt with the same adversity
Well,
as a
he's
guy
young.
like Pavetta.
So here's my only
Pavetta's
thing with
battle hardened.
Yeah,
He's battle tested.
my only thing with Bello is he's young, and I give him credit for what he's accomplished. He needs to now figure out. Somebody's got to be with him, whether it's the pitching coach or whatever, has got to say, here's what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to step back. Now, watch the game last night, because I flip, and, O'Neill hit 2 home runs.
Yes. Yeah.
Devers hit a home run.
Yeah. They're getting
And the other
hot.
kid, who I questioned why anybody would sign him to an extended contract, who never showed anything, hit a home run. That's
Rafaela.
Yeah, Cedeno
Cedeno.
Rafaela.
Yeah.
And he's a better ball player than him. When I see him at bat, he's not a big kid.
Al,
But he's got
he
a
was
pretty
tearing
good
the
bat.
cover off the ball last
Yeah.
year down in Worcester.
I know, but Worcester's well. I don't look
mean,
at that either.
you're facing different pitching, yes, but I mean, he was still doing that.
So they beat Toronto's now the Red Sox. I mean, of last year. Now the question is Alex Cora going to stick around? I don't think he will. I don't think he should. I'm not sure he can handle it.
Here's going to be the telling thing. What do they do at the trading deadline now? Are they going to be sellers? Or are they going to be buyers? Because remember, 2 years ago, when they traded away Vasquez, and the way they did it, in Houston, they traded him to the Astros. He starts his day in the Red Sox clubhouse and ends his day in the Astros clubhouse. I thought that was poor form. But here's the thing: the message is sent to the players at that time was that they're not winning. They're not.
Well, you saw what
they're not
happened.
interested in laying out the resources to win.
Well, you saw what John Henry said this week.
Yes, yeah.
Now that's a big problem.
That it's going to be a huge problem.
And what's his name? The reliever Jensen.
Yeah.
He said, "Look, we don't have to. We got to go out and win,
Yeah.
and forget what he said."
Right.
Now that's a direct slash on.
So it's going to be
the
on
owner.
those guys now.
Right. And I don't think, here's my problem is, I think this team thinks that they have enough young talent
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
to win. Now, not necessarily win a championship, but win 90
Just
games,
games, yeah.
which would be a pretty good thing for this team. Okay,
get
now
in the
they're
wild
what,
card?
3 games over 500 or 2 or
Yeah.
3 games?
To get-
But
You got to stack wins now.
Devers he can hit, okay? He's not a great fielder, but he can hit.
Yeah.
He can't hit for an average, so he's going to hit like 280 to 290, maybe 300, maybe 300.
So, Al, you're Craig Breslow,
Yeah.
and you've been instructed to make this team better at the trading deadline. Who do you go after? What do you go after?
Well, I'm a firm believer that you win with pitching and defense, so I would go after a pitcher. I think they still don't have a
number
top
one.
line. Yeah, they
But
don't
they're
have a
not out
top
there right
line.
now.
Well, it depends on how you
the ones that
package.
are out there are locked up or injured.
Yeah, well, it depends on how you package stuff. And then I'd say, they've got some real question marks. They had Gonzalez at shortstop last night. Story, 2 years now we're waiting for this kid.
Yeah.
I think they probably, it's hard to say because Duran is a center fielder, but so is Rafaela.
Yeah.
Who's a better center fielder? Rafaela.
But
Who's
Duran,
a better?
Duran gives you more than just.
Duran
Duran's
has
a
been a
5'2"
big
guy.
surprise for a number of reasons, though. Why I like Duran is that because he gets on first base and you never know where the hell he's going to go.
He's going to be on
He
third.
goes from first to third.
Oh,
He goes from. Everybody thinks it's a single. He could be in double. I mean, he's a good guy to have at the top of the lineup.
Yeah.
So if you don't play him or you play Rafaela in center, where are you going to play Duran?
Yeah.
So they might say, well, one of them has to go. If you're looking at it, because they've got a bucket full of center fielders here,
I would not ever trade Duran right now.
Yeah, I think Smith is expendable. I don't see him as. I'll tell you, the catcher, can hit.
Wong. Yeah.
He can hit.
He's the
and so
only
can
guy.
McGuire.
He's the only remaining guy out of that Mookie Betts
Yeah,
deal.
right. I know.
And
I mean, if you look-
Verdugo is doing it in New York.
If you look at left and right, the Red Sox got McGuire who can hit.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think he's as good a catcher. I think Connor Wong is a better catcher and can hit and can run.
Yeah.
This team has got more speed than any Red Sox
I
team
love
I've
that.
ever seen.
I love that. I love that a guy like Dahlbeck, though, if he could hit, he's very athletic.
Well,
Very
he
athletic.
can play third. He can play first.
Yeah.
He can play the outfield. They've tried him in the outfield. He's been even down.
So you make
with the
Casas your
I don't understand why they
designated hitter?
can't.
Make him a designated hitter.
Well, can't figure it out because when he hits the ball, he hits it.
Yeah.
He could hit 20, 25 home runs. The problem is he'll also strike out quite a bit, and he doesn't make contact other than the strikeouts. I mean, he hits ground balls, and I don't know. I think this is his last chance, though. He's no kid anymore.
Right. Well, you got to be.
And then how about Tristan?
Oh,
Did you see him on the interview in the
great guy. Great.
Did you hear him talking about his dad getting
Yeah.
arrested?
Yeah.
He is a piece of work,
He
though.
is. He is.
They said, "Oh my God," he wouldn't stop talking. And even the guy said to him, "I don't know about you," he said, "but Tristan, can you stop talking for a second?" He said, "No." He just kept going. He went down after the guy hit the ball, and he went down to talk to him. The guy didn't even want to talk to him. I forget who it was. Might have been Smith. He's over there going like this, and he goes, "Well, how'd you feel about this?" And he goes, "Well, I thought you did pretty good." And the guy goes, "Okay." But anyways,
He is a piece of work.
but we only got a couple of
We
just
should
on
address
on
the
golf.
U.S. Open. Unbelievable, Al. What a finish. I
don't
mean,
know.
Al, I thought if we go back, when Rory and Bryson DeChambeau, who wound up winning this tournament, himself admitted that when, Rory McIlroy goes up by 2 shots, he thought it was over.
Well, when he saw Rory coming,
Yeah.
this is even before he went up by 2, he said,
Uh-oh.
this is the guy that
Uh-oh, yeah.
can cause a problem.
Yeah.
But, forget that he hasn't won a major in 10 years and all that stuff. He's been very bad on his putting recently. Now, he gets to the 16th, and it's 2.6 feet. You know what?
Inside
I
the
never
leather.
liked him all that much. I love him now because that's what I do. I miss 2 point. You know, the other thing is,
You boot a lot of putts
well,
like
you
that,
got
huh?
you got to realize this.
Did
These
you see,
guys
though, that-
very seldom. Those are tap-ins for them.
Yeah, but you know what? That was not level ground he was pitching.
No, I know. Well, the other one
Did you
was
see
even
that
worse.
there was like halfway there, it took a little dip, and that sent it offline.
Well, the one on 18 was 3.9.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a
one took
little more
dip.
difficult, but come on, you're talking about.
And the thing is, you can't hit it firm because if you do, you're like putting now from off the fringe.
But give Bryson a credit. That trap shot that he hit
Unbelievable. Al.
4 feet from the cup,
Unbelievable.
50 feet from the green.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So,
Al.
anyways.
Well, how about the shot before from the waist? From the waist area, he had to saw off his swing.
When he put in this trap, yeah.
He put it in the
yeah,
trap. When he put it in the trap, I'm one of those guys that if I land in the trap, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I just add. That's where I use my calculator. If I'm in there at 2, I know I'll be out in
At 5?
6,
Yeah.
6 or 7.
Well, for me, it's an area you can make a good shot, and that's what he did. He won the tournament. Congratulations to that guy, and congratulations also to the Boston Celtics. Banner 18 belongs to them, belongs to us, and it'll be time to celebrate, fire up the duck boats. We hope to see you all out there hooting and hollering for the Celtics. All righty, everybody. Thanks so much for spending your time with us. Al, thank you. Happy belated Father's Day. And so wish everyone well. And we'll see you next time here on Steppin' Up. Take care.